Hello everyone, today I'm looking at Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This game is really good. I was really surprised by how good this game was. Kirby hasn't had a full 3D adventure since Kirby 64, and I was kind of skeptical because people saw the trailers and everyone just compared it to Nier Automata because it was a post-apocalyptic discovery game. And so I kind of went into it being like half-hearted, and it's really good. It was much better than what I thought initially. So when I played the demo, I'm like, okay, cool. Kirby's in this abandoned shopping mall. The world has been destroyed. It's kind of our world, but kind of not. What's exactly going on here? And what I found is and they showed, he always has this new car power where he half absorbs a car and becomes one with the car. I'm like, okay, cool. This is kind of like Mario Odyssey in the sense that, it's Kirby, but he's in the real world and he's doing more things that are human like based. And so I thought, okay, that's fine, but I'm not really interested in it. But Kirby goes to a lot more different environments. He goes to the winter level, the desert level, amusement park, a tropical level. So all really cool things. And even on that point, though, I think it is funny that there are a lot of scenarios in this game that very much replicate a lot of things in Nier Automata, like the amusement park, like the abandoned mall, even a gigantic factory where, if you were fighting robots in this game, then I'd have to call out copyright or something. But for what it is, it's really nice. Again, something that's funnily enough not as advanced or complicated as Kirby 64 is that why you would only have a few moves in Kirby 64, like one or two moves in the sky or the air. You have a lot more moves now, but you don't have the ability to combine powers. That's something I always kind of noted from Kirby 64 and realized that wasn't in any of the other games. However, what is in this game is that you can find blueprints to upgrade your current powers. And so you have things from wind, ice, bombs, sword, cutter, crash, sleep, drill, etc. And so a lot of things that have been in the past Kirby games, and now they're just really cool. Fire is really cool when you get it fully upgraded. And what's really nice is that you can also choose previous versions of those same power-ups at the store, and that might be useful because some power-ups actually are more beneficial for certain environments, so that they're not just always better. For example, as you upgrade the ranger gun, the gun style power-up, the rate of fire gets actually slower for the final version, but it's way more powerful in its final shot, which is good for bosses. But the rapid fire that's on stage on level 2 is much more beneficial for going through a level quickly and finding things. Aside from that, the game is also divided into a bunch of side objectives for each mission. So you have to, in order to save all the Waddle Dees, you need to basically go in and do certain side objectives for each mission. So usually it's things like there are usually 3 to 5 Waddle Dees hidden throughout the level that you have to do special achievements for. Aside from that, you have to do certain things like, find the secret passage, or defeat all these enemies in this area without taking damage, or destroy all these enemies using the one really cool power you find in that area. Things like that. And so those extra achievements will net you extra Waddle Dees, which acts as kind of all the achievements. And once you do all of those things in the level, then you are able to, essentially get more Waddle Dees. And as you get more Waddle Dees, bring them back down to the town, they'll unlock more side stuff and things for you to do. Overall, as I'm thinking about it, the story of the game, of Kirby games, is never super huge. So in this one, it's basically that there's a wormhole that opens, Kirby is sucked out of planet Popstar, and he's brought to this new dimension, this new world, where he now has to help this little creature that he finds called Elephant, who are being attacked by the Beast Tribe. So all of the non-absorbable enemies you fight are all kind of animals, and so a lot of the bosses are beasts, essentially gorillas, armadillos, tigers, etc., and everything just in a Kirby stylized format. And so you and basically elephant basically gets captured at a certain point, and you have to go rescue him. And so yeah, that's the basic story. But as it develops, it's kind of interesting that they create this scenario where these are the Forgotten Lands, because it's alluding to this idea, and I'm not sure if this is correct, where all of the creatures that used to live in this universe went to the Kirby universe. And I'm not sure if the overall lore implication is implying here that they were all once humans who, because they all have human type structures, that ended up migrating and opening a wormhole to Kirby's universe and then became and transformed into Waddle Dees or something. I'm not sure if that's the implication, but it's kind of like that they were left behind essentially. And so yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Other gameplay elements. So Kirby will also have mouthful mode, and what was really encouraging to see, or really fun to see, is that mouthful mode wasn't just for that one little car scenario. There's certain scenarios where he'll become a light bulb, a boat, a giant fan with like a ring around it. And he'll have certain areas where he'll just have to use these super special power-ups, kind of like Mario, when he takes his hat onto other things. And this one area we're going to have to use this power for this specific purpose. So that's actually kind of fun. And aside from also keeping your powers while you're in mouthful mode, you can also really do cool mini games or cool side quests or side things overall, which again is just really, really fun. And yeah, it keeps things varied with its gameplay. So you have the normal levels where you go through, find all the objectives, rescue Waddle Dees, etc. And then by doing that, you also unlock star levels, which are these single player levels where you essentially go into them and they'll have a challenge based on a specific power. Like, okay, we'll give you the fire one, and you need to do 3 fire blasts or go through this obstacle course. And once you do that, you can also unlock a star piece. And the star piece are used for things like upgrading your weapons to your powers to greater power, for example. What's also interesting about this game is that Kirby's health bar is no longer in units. It's a full, like, actual bar. And so you will have to use food items in the level to recover health. Eventually you unlock the cafe, which has its own mini game, along with a bunch of health items you can carry with you, as well as an item shop, which can increase your, it'll give you an extra health bar for life, attack power, and movement speed. And pretty much for everything, I try to use all those items for scenarios where you had to defeat the boss. And in fact, some of these challenges are quite hard. I know Kirby kind of has a reputation for being a kid's game or a baby's game, which is true. I guess you could beat it even if you were a kid, but some of the way more complicated aspects of this game simply will not do and will not suffice. Some of these challenges and, beat the boss without taking any damage, you need to be really, really aware of what you were doing essentially, and be very skilled in order to do it. And overall the game is very cute. It's very fun. It has co-op mode, which is really great, and you get Banana D, who has his own moveset, and his power will be relative to your power if you're using a level 3 copy ability, and things like that too. So it was really great revisiting the whole Kirby universe, the mechanics. And again, I'm just blown away by the quality of this game. It's just really, really good and very, very well made. Also, the overall story and vibe of the game feels very fun. Has a good feeling of progress. There are lots of fun levels to go through, lots of really cool things to keep you entertained. And just the progress and the feeling of moving through the world, reclaiming it, and doing a bunch of really well made video games makes it feel really good. So yeah, just overall, I just haven't played a game that felt this polished and this friendly and just overall well made in quite some time. And I really just miss games like this. They're just really, really well made. There's also certain sections where you be put on rails, and like a flying section or a boating section, and those are very fun as well. So the gameplay is always very varied, and keeps it fresh for the player. I would also say though that the final area of this game is also very interesting and very funny. Funny in the sense that I just didn't expect how hard for it to go. For example, the final boss of this game is really, really cool. And one of my favorite bosses is Zero Two from the original Crystal Shards, because I love that whole mechanic where you're kind of on a on-rails bullet hell shooter suddenly, and it's completely different redesign from what you're used to. And that is still kind of sort of in this game as well. But the final design for the final boss is really, really cool. And the spoilers is that Elephant is actually half of another life form that wanted to transcend essentially and was stopped from doing so. And so when he recombines with this evil entity, he becomes this really cool design that is almost like angelic looking, and just a good character design. I've just missed that. And the final level of this game is so abstract and interesting, and this final boss energy kind of thing finally sets in, and I miss that kind of energy. I miss the kind of games where they give you a completely super powerful abstract guy to fight for the end of the world, and the setting for the final boss is super cool. The tension, the atmosphere, it's just really great. The final boss of this game is absolutely worth it. It's just really, really great and really, really fun. And aside from that, the final sequence absolutely captured my heart because it was the dumbest thing I could imagine. I was like, okay, we're getting a flying sequence or whatever. No, it turns out Kirby absorbs a giant truck, and that is how you defeat this angelic, metaphysical final boss. I thought, is he going to destroy him with a supernova? No, they use a truck. And it is the funny, like, I was laughing the whole sequence out of how ridiculous it was, but I really appreciated it because it was just so ridiculous and so cool that I really, really loved it. And yeah, I mean, it kind of ends with kind of a QTE kind of thing, but yeah, overall it wasn't as fun or as epic as the 64, but in its ending, but it was still very comical, very iconic, I would say. But yeah, overall, each level there's a little secret to have, a little secret to hide. You're always checking, oh, what does the new ability do? What if I do it this way? What if I upgrade this? So it keeps the player's attention. You get a good feeling of progression, of puzzle solving, of collecting, and of optimizing your character. Overall, it's just such a well-built game that I felt that the demo really undersold it in some way. I don't know how or why to express that, but it feels so lame in comparison to the actual full game, which is an absolute joy to play. And yeah, this has little brother mode, so if you play Waddle Dee, he can lose all his health and die, but it really doesn't matter. But yeah. Anyway, I don't know. This almost feels like Game of the Year to me in some way, almost. I'm sure there's something else that came out this year that'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that deserves it. But this game really, really was... I enjoyed it way more than I expected it to. And again, it was fun to revisit Kirby in a 3D space, and way better than what I expected. Definitely up there with 64, if not... on the same level. They're really both two really good Kirby games, and my intuition of saying, oh, this is just another 3D adventure, it's going to be as good as the last one, was surprisingly right. I was pretty shocked by that, my own revelation. I guess some other closing ideas. Some of the mini games and some of the overall challenges that they give to you. So each star challenge they'll have, you'll pass it, you'll get the star point, but each one of them also has a target time. So it's a kind of a challenge to real gamers because they know that, oh yeah, Kirby games aren't really big gamer games, but if you can't beat a Kirby challenge, it's kind of like, well, you can't beat the baby game. But some of them are really inconsistent, where on my first try I'll make 3 major mistakes and I'll still get the target time and the extra 50 coins. And then other times I'll miss it entirely, or other times rather, I'll be on such good pacing and I'll be over the target time and I'll just be kind of shocked about that whole predicament. I'd be just like, how possibly did this happen? Besides the Waddle Dees you have to collect and other things in the environment, I guess one thing that I am aware of but don't think I'll pursue is the gacha in this game. It's literally a gachapon machine where you open up figures of character models in the game, and so you'll find those in the levels themselves or in a gacha machine outside in the hub world, which kind of acts as a way to spend all of your star points, whether on upgrades, items, or other things. There's also Coliseum Tournament mode where you get to fight Meta Knight in that one specific mode as one of the bosses. There is also a cafe where you can do a cafe serving mini game, which is a test of memory and a reaction time. There's also a mini game that is a marble ball based on the Kirby Tilt games, and that almost drove me insane. As anyone who has played it, it's the perfect setup where the very first version of that challenge is very simple, and they get harder and harder and harder. And finally, it's only the very last challenge on the very hard mode, the 6th level of this little marble tabletop thing, that becomes excruciatingly, painfully difficult to master. It took me a few hours, honestly, but because I had gone that far already, and I thought, well, I'm already invested, I might as well finish it, I couldn't say no. And it took me, I think, 300 tries because I spent about 3,000 coins. So, but yeah, no, if you own a Switch, this is absolutely a AAA proper Nintendo game that I just, I'm just so used to everything being so mid. I'm a little bit pessimistic about even Nintendo products and AAA things being oh yeah, it's still Nintendo-ish or esque, but it's still not quite the same thing. This is not the case. This is a full-blown, brand new Kirby game that is in full force and maybe has been dormant for a while. I mean, this is HAL Laboratory. It's their baby, really, not just Nintendo. And they really brought their A game with this, I feel. I feel all the challenges, the progress, the powers, seeing, Kirby react to the environment, Kirby's design in general, the story unfold, the final boss, just absolutely peak final boss, absolutely beautiful, insanely fun final boss. The environments, the style, the designs of the enemies and the scenarios, everything about this game is really, really good and just very well made. And I just miss games like this that just actually pretended to try for once, Everything about it is good. It has, it's hub world based. It's not some open. There's no open world modern AAA business around here. It's just a good game that is not trying to be anything else but Kirby and a distinct identity of what kind of game that is. So yeah, if you have not picked up the Forgotten Land, it is absolutely worth it. Definitely a Nintendo Switch must try. It is so much fun and shockingly just a blast. Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for Kirby. Definitely go out and try it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.